Welcome to Mindshift Monday, and today we aren't talking to your job title.
Right.
We're talking to the human being behind the desk, the one behind the steering wheel, and the hospital mask.
Exactly. I want you to physically drop your shoulders right now. Just whatever you're doing.
Yeah, just let it go.
Right. Whether you just took off a pair of heavy work boots or maybe you unbuttoned a corporate blazer or peeled off surgical gloves, that version of you is off the clock.
Totally off the clock.
Take a deep breath. You are entering quiet mode now. And if you're a chill star ready to flip the switch on a new start, drop a little seedling emoji in the comments.
I love that. Because today we are diving deep into a fascinating guide called Sovereign Architect Mindset, using memento mori for peace and power.
It's such a powerful text.
It really is. The author goes by Chillstar08. She's a digital freedom coach, a travel business owner, and crucially, a grandmother.
Yes, that part is so important to her philosophy.
Right. And her blueprint is specifically designed for professionals who are just fundamentally exhausted from building everyone else's dream. So, okay, let's unpack this. What exactly is the core mission she's trying to get across to us today?
Well, what's fascinating here is that this isn't just another list of superficial productivity hacks.
Oh, thank goodness.
Right, because we see those everywhere, like articles on how to squeeze 14 more minutes out of your morning commute.
Or the whole inbox zero myth.
Exactly. Chillstar '08 is aiming at a completely different target. The mission for this deep dive is to explore how you can stop being a subject who is just, constantly reacting to the chaos of the world.
Yeah, always on defense.
Right, and instead become the sovereign architect of your own legacy. It's really a fundamental rewiring of how you value your own finite existence.
By decoupling your time from your income, right?
Yes. But before we can actually build that new legacy, she points out that we have to look at the flawed foundation we're currently standing on. She calls it the trap of the someday tent.
The someday tent. I mean, that hits hard.
It's the grand lie of modern professional life. It's that mental bargaining we constantly do, like, I will finally take care of my health or I'll start that side business.
Once things calm down.
Yes. Someday, once life slows down.
Yeah.
But the text explicitly states a really harsh truth. It says, the world only gets louder.
Wow. Yeah, it really does. Things just do not calm down on their own.
No, they don't. The default state of the world is extraction. So if you're waiting for a magical moment of peace, you're going to be waiting forever.
It's like living in that someday tent is essentially running on a treadmill at max speed, right? And you're just staring at the display, hoping that if you run fast enough, the treadmill will somehow magically turn into a hammock.
That is a perfect analogy. It's a machine designed for running.
But practically speaking, how does Chillstar08 suggest we actually step off the treadmill? Because our jobs and our lives demand so much firefighting,
Yeah.
Reacting to emergencies.
She lays out a clear logic map. You have to actively trade the noise and the grind for quiet mode.
Okay, quiet mode.
Yeah, which is a state of high impact and automated systems. But the psychological shift is that you have to realize if you aren't the architect of your time, you are automatically the subject of someone else's.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because the external world has no boundaries.
Exactly. Your boss will always take more time. So she introduces the ultimate finite boundary. Step 3 from her logo section is memento mori.
Remembering that you will die.
Right, memento mori. Chillstar '08 reminds us that the clock is the only boss that doesn't take excuses. You have roughly 100 peak performance Mondays left in this chapter of your life.
Just 100. That's terrifying.
It creates what she calls intentional urgency. She asks, how are you going to spend this one?
But let me push back on that slightly. Because thinking about death usually just makes people feel paralyzed or, super anxious.
You're right, I get that.
Like, how does the author frame this so it becomes a tool for empowerment rather than just causing an existential crisis on a Tuesday morning?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not about causing panic. It's about shifting from procrastination to purpose.
Okay.
You have to run the mortality audit. Is this quote-unquote emergency meeting or this obligatory favor actually worth 1% of your remaining legacy?
Probably not.
Right. And if the answer is no, switch stays OVF.
Yeah.
As architects, we don't spend time anymore. We invest it. The brutal truth from the text is sovereignty begins with the delete key.
Sovereignty begins with the delete key. I love that.
Yeah, because your yes is incredibly expensive, but you're handing it out like it's free.
And we've been studying these blueprints for a while, and as the architect says, a foundation is useless if you let everyone walk through the front door and take what they want.
Yes. You have to actively defend those Mondays.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Think of your daily energy, your actual life force, as a power grid.
Oh, I like this.
Every time you say yes out of guilt to an extra shift or a late night email, you are physically diverting voltage away from your own star, your family, your health, your peace.
It's basic math.
Right. It's fifth grade logic. You cannot light up your own house if you are giving all your electricity to a corporation that doesn't even know your name.
Exactly. You are maintaining their power plant while yours goes completely dark.
So how do we stop the leak?
She calls it moving from leaking to leading. You have to stop saying yes out of guilt and embrace the noble no.
The noble no.
Yes. And Chillstar 08 approaches this specifically from her perspective as a wife, mom, and grandmother.
Right, the grandson anchor.
Exactly. When she says no to a Sunday shift or a frantic client demand, she isn't being difficult.
She's being a grandma.
Yes, she's protecting the energy she needs to be present for the people who actually know her name.
Yeah.
Her noble no is a necessary boundary to protect her peace and her travel business.
So it's not selfish at all. It's fiercely protective.
Exactly.
But if the noble no clears the space, what exactly are we building? You mentioned earlier you've spent years mastering the tools of your trade, reading patients or P&L statements, but today we're handing you a digital tool belt.
Right, because you already have the work ethic. You already have the builder's brain. We're just changing the wiring.
So you can own the power plant.
Yes. And what you're building in that reclaimed space is quiet mode.
Okay, paint that picture for me.
Imagine the nurse who isn't on call to the world. Imagine the manager whose phone stays in the drawer. Or the tradesman traveling in a van with no destination because his digital systems are doing all the heavy lifting.
That's the dream. But how does that actually work mechanically?
It relies on passive magnetism, decoupling value from your hours. There are 3 pillars. High impact, meaning your value isn't tied to time.
Right.
Zero noise, which is filtering out the static. And absolute freedom.
Grounded in peace, reaching for the sky.
Exactly. And she achieves this through done-for-you systems, master resale rights, and faceless marketing. These educate and convert while she is completely offline.
So what does this all mean? I have to ask. Is passive magnetism just a marketing buzzword for making money in your sleep? Or is it a deeper philosophical shift?
This raises an important question, because it does sound like buzzwords if you don't look closer.
Right, like get-rich-quick stuff.
But it's deeply philosophical. It connects back to amor fati.
Loving the mess of the now.
Yes. Burning the old blueprints of shame. It's about finding financial and location freedom without sacrificing your soul to the digital grind.
But what about the tools? Master resale rights, faceless marketing.
Master resale rights, or MRR, is like buying a digital franchise. You buy a finished digital asset like a course, and you own the legal right to sell it and keep 100% of the profit.
Okay, so you don't have to build the product from scratch.
Exactly. And faceless marketing means you build a brand around a solution, not your personal identity. You use automation and SEO. The customer buys the system, not you.
Oh, wow. So you're not dancing on social media?
You don't need a stage to shine. You just need your own grid. Your personal life remains entirely private.
That is brilliant. It's like setting up a digital vending machine. It does the work, and you don't have to stand there smiling at everyone who walks by.
Precisely. But here's the catch. Understanding this philosophy is great, but without immediate execution, it's just another form of the someday tent.
Right, we need a micro-win today.
Yes. She introduces the 1% immediate action. Do not plan for tomorrow. You have to take 1% of the territory back right now.
So practically, what does that look like?
Right now, look at your calendar. Find one thing you are doing purely out of guilt. Cancel it.
Just cancel it.
Flip the switch. No excuses, just boundaries. Identify one thing you've been putting off out of fear and do the smallest version of it immediately.
It's like taking back a single brick from that massive wall you've been building for your boss and using it to lay the cornerstone of your own fortress.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
And there is a mathematical certainty to it. The 1% rule creates a 37 times transformation over a year. But transformation requires a tribe.
Right. The text mentions joining the Chillstar school community.
Yes, the inner circle, or the sovereign fortress.
Yeah.
Because the world is toxic and noisy, you need a community to reinforce these digital boundaries.
That makes total sense.
They share quiet mode templates. They even uploaded Chillstar 08's noble no-script vault, the exact words to protect your grid without burning bridges. They celebrate app delete wins together. you have to claim your seat.
It's about collective sovereignty.
Exactly. And in that community, she has this incredible frequency, this creed that she uses to ground herself.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
It goes like this. I am grounded in peace. I am reaching for my stars. My light is my own. I am a star, and I will shine bright. I will reach for the sky. I release what was. I embrace what is becoming.
Wow, that is powerful. So as we wrap up, we've gone from being a firefighting subject to a sovereign architect. We've applied memento mori, wielded the noble no, and stepped into quiet mode.
We really have. And for my final thought, I want you to mull this over. If sovereignty truly begins with a delete key, look at your phone or your calendar right now.
Right now.
What is the one app, obligation, or commitment that you are terrified of deleting today, but is actually the exact thing standing in the way of your absolute freedom tomorrow?
The blueprints are burned. The new grid is live. Go be great, chill stars. Flip the switch.